Welcome to Court Helicopter Explainer, where we are looking at Section 7 of the Penal Code. It says, ignorance of the law is no defense in a court of law. So we, as Court Helicopter, looked at very many people being arraigned in court. The Court Helicopter covers very many people arraigned in court. And they are shocked that they have been arrested. What? Because they didn't know the law. So we are bringing it what the law says. Don't ever say again, ignorance of the law is no defense before court of law. We are on chapter 7 of chapter 8 of the Penal Code, section 67, offenses affecting relationship with foreign states and external tranquility. We have seen Kenyans abusing the president of Tanzania. We have seen Kenyans abusing the president of Uganda. We have seen Kenyans abusing the president of America. Do you know it is an offense to do that? I know you'll be saying the freedom of expression is allowed. What does the law say in section 67? Any person who without such justification or excuse as would be sufficient in the case of defamation of a private person publishes anything intended to be read or any sign or visible representation tending to degrade, revile, or expose the hatred or contempt of any foreign prince, potentate, ambassador, or other foreign dignitary with the intent to disturb peace and friendship between Kenya and the country to which such prince, potentate, ambassador, or dignitary belongs is guilty of a misdemeanor. So if you go depicting some foreign dignitaries in a manner that is defamatory. Remember, the foreign dignitaries have no jurisdiction to sue you for defamation because they cannot go to court to enforce defamation orders. The government of Kenya takes over and you are arrested and charged, and if you are found guilty under section 67, you will be convicted and taken in as a misdemeanor. Foreign enlistment. Foreign enlistment. Do you want to go to the Russian army? Do you want to go and join a job with the American Jeshi? You are a Kenyan, the youth, the Gen Z, the militia. Do you want to go and be recruited in a military of another country? Are you interested, or have you formed a company to take people out of the country to join the armed forces of those countries? What does section 68 says? Any person who without the authority of the president in writing, the president must give you authority in writing. A, prepares or fits out any naval or military expedition to proceed against the dominions of any friendly state, or is engaged in such preparation or fitting out to assist therein, or in employment in any capacity of such expedition. If you are shipping Kenyans to go to work in the army of another country, you must get express authority in writing from the commander-in-chief himself, not anybody. 2, being a Kenyan citizen, accepts or agrees to accept any commission or engagement in the military or police of other forces of whatsoever nature. If you are a Kenyan citizen and you want to go to the cage to be employed in any other country, you must get express authority in writing from the President of the Republic of Kenya. C, being a citizen of Kenya, quits or goes on board any vessel with the view of quitting Kenya with intent to accept any commission or engagement in the military. If you are a Kenyan citizen, you're in the police, you're in the army, you quit and join a foreign country's jeshi, you must get express authority in writing from the President. D, if you are the owner of the ship, the owner of the airplane that is carrying this person, and you have knowledge that this person is running away to go and join the army of a foreign country, you must get authority from the President. And lastly, if you deliver any Kenyan to this place, you will be found to have committed an offense and you'll go for 10 years. So this is the law that stops Kenyans from going out of the country, because if a Kenyan is found fighting in another country, it is seen as the Kenyan government is assisting the foreign country. It is such a serious issue if you found Ugandan soldiers fighting alongside Kenyan forces. The army is strictly the army. Then the question that is there, we have seen very many Kenyans in the marine forces of the USA. Those ones, when they went, they had to renounce the Kenyan citizenship. Under the Kenyan 20 Constitution, dual citizenship now allows you to go and be in the army of another country because you are a citizen of that country. So the Marines in America have dual citizenship. They are Kenyans and they are Americans. Very, very interesting. Then we look at section 77, subversive activities. What is subversive activities? These are things that are intended, undercover things intended to hurt the country, to prepare for a sabotage of a country. For example, we get our expressway, the road expressway. You are found trying to uproot the foundation stone of the foundation of the express railway, so that when the railway passes, it collapses and kills people. You get into the roads and you demolish the roads with a view of subverting the economy of the country. If you are found with this, then it becomes a crime in the country. Section 78 is very controversial. Definition of unlawful assembly and riot. Kenyans will tell you, under Article 37, we have a right to assemble. We have a right to riot. We have a right to picket. But let us be very clear. We taught it. The Constitution says you have a right so long as you are unarmed. If you are armed, Section 78 comes into place. If you are violent, Section 78 comes in place. If you are going to breach the peace and threatening the lives of property and people, Section 78 falls in place. The right to picket and demonstrate does not extend to the right to demolish and destroy property. The right to demonstrate under Article 37 does not go to the right to rape, to defile, to assault, to beat people. So Section 78, very many people have tried to challenge it, that it is unconstitutional. It has never been declared unconstitutional because it deals with those provisions, those conditions that you must be peaceful and unarmed. What does the law say here? So if you are found with this, you will be found guilty, and the punishment for unlawful assembly is any person who takes part in unlawful assembly is guilty of a misdemeanor and is liable to imprisonment for 1 year. 80. If you participate in a riot that causes property to be destroyed, then you will be found to have committed a misdemeanor. What does Section 81 say? Proclamation for rioters to disperse. Have you seen the OCS with a loudspeaker? Why? This is the law. Now you know why they carry loudspeakers. Any administrative officer or magistrate, can you imagine? The magistrate can order with a loudspeaker the riot to stop. Or in his absence, any gazetted officer or inspector of the Kenya Police and above, in whose view 12 or more persons, 12, not 10, you must be above 12. In whose view 12 or more persons are riotously assembled, or who apprehends that riot is about to be committed by 12 or more persons assembled within this view, may take or cause to be made a proclamation in such form as he thinks fit, commanding the rioters or persons who are assembled to disperse peacefully. The OCS, if you are more than 12, you are armed, you are looking dangerous, he'll make a proclamation loud enough to declare you people to disperse peacefully. Section 82. If after the proclamation, how does the law provide for the rioters to be dispersed? If upon the expiry of a reasonable time, after the proclamation has been made, to prevent force, 12 or more persons continue riotously assembled together, any person authorized to make proclamation, or any police officer or any other person acting in such a person, may do all things necessary for dispersing the persons so continuing assembled and for apprehending them or any other form. So the police have the power to arrest now after the proclamation. They have the power to tear gas that crowd, to disperse. They have the power to use the batons to remove those people who are rioters. But the rioting, there must be a proclamation. 83. Rioting after proclamation. If rioting has been made and the proclamation has been done, you continue rioting and you are arrested, you are guilty of a felony and you'll be imprisoned for life. You are liable. I know my good crew, Vivian, is asking, please read it again. It says, if proclamation is made commanding the persons engaged in a riot or assembled with the purpose of committing a riot to disperse, every person who at or after the expiration of a reasonable time from the making of the proclamation takes or continues to take part in the riot or assembly is guilty of a felony and is liable for imprisonment for life. How many know that? Gen Z, now you know. The punishment for continuous riots is life imprisonment. Wow. Wow. My team Akina Bramwell are shocked that just dancing outside Central Police Station and the OCS has told you leave. You refuse. You can go in for life. That is the law. It doesn't look reasonable. It doesn't make sense, but that is the law. The magistrate has no option other than to sentence you to life imprisonment. Now you know. Remember, Section 7 of the Penal Code tells you ignorance of the law is no defense against the law. So you being ignorant that you don't know that you can go in for life imprisonment. Then you are arrested, you go to court, Milimani court, you say, oh God, me I didn't know. Please forgive me, I didn't know. Section 7 will not help you. Ignorance of the law is no defense against the law. Then Section 84. Suppose you try to stop the OCS from making the proclamation. You go, grab the microphone, you grab the loudspeaker, you chase or detain the police officer and stop him from making the proclamation. My friend, Section 84 again, you will be jailed for life. Imagine. You have not carried any gun. You have not carried any weapon. But you have snatched the OCS, that loudspeaker, to make a proclamation. You'll go in for life. Why? Section 7 tells you ignorance of the law is no defense in a crime. Wow. Mambo sasa. 85. The rioters demolishing buildings. Now we are talking about rioters who are demolishing buildings. Have you demolished a kiosk? Have you demolished Mama Mboga's shed that sells nyanya? Have you demolished glasses? Have you demolished window panes? Kenyatta Avenue. We had an office at Uganda House. The ground floor was demolished by rioters. We had to move to Upper Hill, to Milimani Road. What happens when you carry a stone and you hit the glasses, the window rails? What does the law say? My sister, it is bad. 85. Any person who, being riotously assembled together, unlawfully pull down or destroy or begin to pull down or destroy any building, any railway, any machinery or structure are guilty of a felony, and each of them is liable for imprisonment for life. Now you know. You know, when you go on riots and you destroy property, the punishment is for life. Section 7 of the Penal Code tells you ignorance of the law is no defense. Have you uprooted the railway line at Kibera and you celebrate dancing? Have you carried the billboards, road signs from the street and taken them to your house and put them there? In your bedroom, you put Moi Avenue. Those are big properties. My friend, you are in for life. Then 87, riotously interfering with the railway, vehicle or vessels. Have you stopped the vehicles from moving, or the vessels or the railway? My friend, let me read it. All persons are guilty of a misdemeanor who, being riotously assembled, unlawfully and with force, prevent, hinder or obstruct the loading or unloading of any railway, vehicle or vessel, or the starting or transit of any railway or vehicle, or sealing or navigation or vessel, or unlawfully and with force board any railway, vehicle or vessel with intent to do so. Have you boarded a matatu by force? Have you jumped on top of a nganya and you're excited? The vehicles are moving around. That is an offense. Have you boarded the trains from Eastlands to town on top during riots? Now, have you boarded? My friend, that one, you are joking. Then 88, have you moved out armed to a demonstration? What does it say? Any person who goes armed in public without lawful occasion in such a manner as to cause terror to any person is guilty of a misdemeanor, and his arms may be forfeited. If you go armed to a riot, it is issue. Then, do you carry to the riot a firearm? Any person who without reasonable excuse carries or has in his possession or under his authority a firearm or any other offense is guilty of an offense. This includes those who are private firearm licensed carriers. The law will be dealing with the law. The Private Firearm Licensing Act will deal with that. Section 90, forceful entry. The question about entry is a very fantastic issue, because now we are talking about entering people's property. How do you do with that law? In the next episode, Wakili Dan Senomari starts looking at Section 90 of the Penal Code that deals how do we deal with forceful entry. How do you detain land? Do you know you can detain land? Wakili Dan Senomari, never say again that I didn't know that it is a crime. Section 7 of the Penal Code says ignorance of the law is no defense against the law. Keep watching. Keep